So in this next video for Hatshepsut, we'll be carrying on from the last video where we looked at the role of New Kingdom queens, and in this video we'll obviously have a look at the role of New Kingdom kings. We need to understand what the expectations were of New Kingdom kings, so therefore we can apply that expectation to Hatshepsut to see whether she fulfilled that role and therefore could be considered a good king or an effective king for Egypt during her time period of her reign. So first and foremost, we need to understand that the king was the supreme ruler. He was the controller and the key man in Upper and Lower Egypt, and his will was what was carried out by his subjects. We see that in the tile. He was the lord of the two lands, and the expectation that went along with that was that he upheld Ma'at, which we won't go into much detail with because we've already covered what Ma'at is. Suffice to say that it is to keep chaos at bay and protect the order and stability of Egypt. Another really important role of the king was a religious role, and he was seen as the conduit between the human and the divine. And he continued to uphold those ritual expectations to therefore keep chaos at bay and again maintain Ma'at and maintain the link between man and the gods. I'll just remove myself for now. So we can see the next one, which is royal titles or royal titulary, which is what we refer to it as a combined element. And we have a five-fold royal titulary is what a king had. So 5 important royal titles that they held. And we'll look at more at what Hatshepsut's titles are in a later video. But we need to understand that they are really important to have those as a king. And they all had their own political and religious significance, which was understood by the people. Kings were builders. Kings were expected to undertake building programs, and again this links to Ma'at, the fact that if you're able to subdue the natural world through building programs and honour the gods at the same time, by creating a building for Amun, therefore you are upholding Ma'at. So kings were expected to have big infrastructure projects, building temples and other public buildings, often again to honour the gods, and we see Hatshepsut fulfilling this particularly in her role as king, because she had a very, very significant building program during her reign. The warrior pharaoh is something else that comes in during the this time period. So during the New Kingdom time period, we see the warrior pharaoh often depicted riding a chariot, wearing that blue war crown, smiting enemies, or as Hatshepsut is depicted herself as a warrior sphinx, but subduing enemies and again keeping chaos at bay and upholding Ma'at. A lot of it links back to that concept of Ma'at. Finally, the king was a sportsman, so he was depicted as a hunter, again subduing the wild and chaotic forces of the natural world by being that sportsman and hunting those dangerous elements into submission. So that's a little bit of an overview there. That's what's expected of a New Kingdom king during this time period, and we can sort of use that as a bit of a benchmark to understand whether Hatshepsut fulfills her role as a New Kingdom king effectively.